Hello everyone, welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to a fresh, hot off the fucking presses Monday. Ugh. Hello. My camera's so fucked up. There we go. How are you guys? How are things going? How was the Super Bowl? I was on stream when it happened, I'm pretty sure. And I don't... Did I miss it? I think I missed it by like maybe 12 minutes, maybe? Possibly? Potentially? What I get for having an Australian GM. No, I love Maddie. I did miss it, but I don't care about sports, and obviously I'm sitting here with D&D in the hashtags of the stream right now, so obviously I don't care about sports. But I did watch like snippets of Benito's performance, first name basis, of Bad Bunny's performance. Oh god, dude, the fucking 5 seconds of Gasolina that was on there. Ugh. God, it was such a tease. It made me want to listen to that song for like, I don't know, basically hours and hours straight. Someone says the halftime show was great, but the ads were concerning. Wait, what happened with the ads? Also, the Cheese Prof says the only Super Bowl I know is ramen. The only Superb Bowl I know is a solid set of Superb Owls. Rogue over on Instagram says, if my monk throws a bird at a goblin, would it hurt? You know, for that, I would take terminal velocity homebrew rules and convert it into like, no, don't do that actually, because then the monk's gonna get absolutely batshit crazy with throwing shit. It would hurt. It would hurt. It would hurt the bird a lot more though. Let's see. Hi, Shiloh. Hello. Cheese Prep says a pretty owl. Yeah. And then allegedly Macy says, I just had a Super Bowl of Greek yogurt and granola. Dude, acai bowls. I miss them so goddamn much. We don't have them in this town except for maybe one place that sells them from 10 to 11 a.m. on exactly one Sunday out of the month. It's garbage. Prayhack says, I love sports in D&D. D&D does not remove sports. Dude, yeah, Johnny Stanton is, I'm so wildly impressed at his ability to like marry both of those two things together consistently well. It's so cool. That guy's great too. Let's see. Maldarian, hello, for the first time says, this is better than YouTube. Hi, welcome in. And then also Hato says, hi Diana, I just messaged my friends in Seattle. Friends in Seattle for what? For which thing? But also Notzer, thank you so much for the sub. Senna or Tasa, welcome in for the first time. We also have Vault Dweller, who's on a stream of streak of 7 streams in a row. Ippy's on 45 though, so you got a little catching up to do. But someone said that the Super Bowl ads were all AI. You gotta be kidding. Wait, I did see the one that was like a gaslight of the fucking, God, what was it? It was like a karaoke gaslight essentially, where they pretended that it was like this big karaoke thing, and then it like ended in, what was it, Coinbase or crypto or something like that. It was some like crypto nonsense. Which it would have been such a good ad for literally fucking anything else too. It would have been so unifying. Ugh. I hate when people fuck up good human shit. Like the human capacity to just do cute shit. And then they take that, and then they mangle it. And then they toss it into a dumpster. The Coinbase one, yeah. Hato says Super Bowl. So they have an Aussie kicker, so obviously I took credit. Oh, there you go, the ambassadorship. Phoenix Blaze says same. Hi, Phoenix Blaze, welcome in for the first time. DBC said the Ring. Ring has been doing that for cops for years now, but they're just announcing it. Oh, the thing with Ring cameras announcing that they will use your Ring camera to identify things they can see. I feel like the safe assumption is that they're always doing that. It's like this, it's the constant assumption that your phone is listening to you, the constant assumption that like, I don't know, at this point it's just better to operate out of from a place of caution, that sort of thing. But Cashcal said Big Brother's always watching, pretty much. Universe says I'm throwing a full-blown vampire at my 5th level players this Sunday. Aren't full-blooded vampires, hold on, they're fucking hard, aren't they? The normal vampires, I'm so used to just straight up Strahd and then the modified versions of his lackeys. The straight up normal vampires are fucking CR, get out of here. Cookie settings, except I'll take them. That's a CR 13 stat block, what the fuck? That's kind of cool though. Is it in its lair? It's not in its lair, is it? Oh man. My Short King Pirate says they admit to it openly, so yeah. Fucking insane. Prayak also says the Ring ad was pretty much like they were turning it into the cell phone thing for Batman. I have not. I haven't seen any Batman shit, unfortunately. We also have Maldare, and he says any monsters involving old school level drain are absolute nightmares. Ugh. And Ellie Bear says, I created a war criminal, an artificer artillerist that essentially loves to blow shit up. Is it possible to create a nuclear bomb without homebrew? You're asking me? Oh, God. Not to my knowledge. You can create like a warp bomb and that takes things and shoves them into the astral plane, canonically, sort of. But you know, nuke, not my not my area of expertise. Gotta say, on any level. Gotta say. Yuriver says I don't plan on TPKing, but yeah, no, it's not in Slayer. So here's the thing about things like that, right? Is I fully believe that every once in a while you should throw a scripted death, like video game style, at your players. Where, oh god, am I gonna sneeze? I'm allergic to scripted deaths. The thing where, hi Civics, the thing where every once in a while you wanna make sure that your party is like, basically humbled a little bit, because otherwise they're gonna always expect that the world caters to whatever their current level is gonna be, which is just not realistic. If they're wandering around in the middle of the abyss, you should have like a solid amount of higher level combats that they could accidentally trip into, or that will happen just to like bring them to a certain location, you know, knock them out, bring them to a prison that they continue the story from. Something like that, if done responsibly, keyword responsibly, because it's hard to fuck up, it's easy to fuck up and accidentally kill him. Something to make them turn tail and run, you know, it gives them, in a sense, more options than just winning the fight, moving on, winning the next fight, moving on. Civic says I only one question. Yeah, how can I help? And Ed over on YouTube says bless you. Thank you. Also, hi YouTube, how's it going? Just chatting. I realized I never went live on TikTok. God, I always try and go live at the exact same time on all my platforms, and it takes, it's not good. It's really hard. Allegedly, Macy says there's literally a way for my players to see invisible imps, and they missed it, and 2 players got downed because they kept getting ambushed. Yeah, you do have to also know your players well enough to know whether or not they're gonna fuck over your encounter. Like, for example, if you know for a fact that your party will fight to the death no matter what, then you gotta be really, really, really careful about how you throw encounters at them, because you might end up accidentally killing them because they straight up don't know when to run. In fact, when I do my session zeros, I always tell my players, like, hey, by the way, running is an option, and sometimes it might be your only option. Bear in mind that this is a harder type campaign. Let's see. Your race says if everything goes well, they're likely getting transported to the Shadowfell. Yeah, that stuff's cool. And Nikki Music says, I'm currently playing my first D&D campaign and I died in our second combat. Oh my god, I got Deus Ex Machina revivified though. I low-key hate when, and this is my thing when it comes to any level of campaign. It could be an actual play, it could be a one-shot, anything like that. I hate it when people pull their punches. But that's just me. Again, you're talking to someone who's made 2 videos in a row now talking about the realism and survival aspects of games like D&D and other TTRPGs. But Blood, Sweat, and Steel says, any plans to play or run Starfinder by Paizo now that Starfinder 2e is going to be released in the near distant future? I honestly thought it was already on 2e, so I'm the wrong person to ask. I don't usually do sci-fi stuff. I had someone come into my comment section the other day and told me that I should try the Alien TTRPG because it's apparently really close to like the realism of what I usually enjoy in other tabletop games. But I don't know. I just don't like sci-fi that much usually. I won't go out of my way for it unless someone's renting a game and they're like, Dad, we really want you to join, and it's like a home game, you know. I don't know if I do anything beyond that. I think I've actually turned down at least 1 or 2 GMing slots because the person came up to me and was like, hey, I want to hire you to GM this thing for this show, and I was very familiar, like, we're friends, I'm very familiar with their content, and they were like, yeah, it's based on Star Wars, and I'm like, I'm gonna be so real, I would love to do this project. I'm not the right person for it though. Like, I don't know. Let's see, Civics said, why are your roads so crap in Bend? My car broke because of how bad it was. I know exactly what roads you're talking about. I'm willing to bet. They're fixing a decent amount of them. They're fixing all the ones into and out of town. So if you were just passing through town, you shouldn't have had too much trouble. But also, I don't know. I think Oregonian roads are also bad just because we use gravel instead of salt when it comes to the wintertime. So they get like real nasty and just gross and like slushy. Filled, essentially. It's like that gray slush that you see everywhere with rocks that get yanked and tossed into your windshield all the time, you know. Natsu says unexpected snow breaking up the gravel. We had like no snow this year, to be honest. It didn't stick for very long if we did, and definitely no ice. Gustavo says dying is a part of the adventure. You need to have stakes. Right, exactly. Even when it comes to like especially when it comes to an actual play, right, is like everyone can tell, the audience can tell, the party can tell, all that. When you've pulled a Deus Ex Machina and made it so that like something went wrong, something didn't go to plan, and then you're immediately doing everything you can to get back onto, you know, the normal. It's a railroad. It's a railroad in a different form, right? He's trying to get everyone to live when they shouldn't be living, and fixing issues that they can't seem to fix themselves. You know. Cash Cutlet says that Diana, that's because your snow was drunk on my front lawn. Oh, Maddie, hi. Hello. Saying hi, I'm on break for a game, but I love you. Hi. Hi. And let's see. We also have Kaylee, who is here for the first time, saying, glad I checked Instagram. I haven't caught your stream before. Hello. Good to see you. Welcome in. Welcome in. We also have Namash, who subbed with Prime. A lot of new folks here. Hi, everyone. Maldarian says, how do you feel about cyberpunk? Seems like that genre would fit really well with the more gritty stories you're aiming for. They would. The concept of it is pretty cool, and I would need to go back and study the lore from the really old TTRPGs before and then play the game again, and then play Phantom Liberty because I haven't played it. I played the game a long time ago. I played it when it first came out on PC, like first came out, and I heard it's improved a lot since then, so I would do it for the lore. It's really good lore. Let's see. Thank you for the shout out to Maddie. And then Civic says, I pulled out to get gas and there was a pothole so violent it snapped one of my axles. I'm lucky I had the tools and parts to fix it. Was it actually on the road or was it like a pothole in the parking lot? Because the fucking gas station parking lots around here, unless they're attached to a Fred Meyer, our version of Kroger, unless they're attached to a Fred Meyer or anything like that, they're fucking abysmal. There are some nasty gas stations out here that just haven't done anything to bother putting up a pretense of being a good place to want to get gas. Nas just says, it's not a good meme of a kid adding a junior to their character sheet and role-playing their own kid looking to get revenge, which is kind of funny. I do want to see more roguelike TTRPGs for people who specifically love that sort of content and love that sort of bit. I also have someone on Instagram saying, hey, do you like the Secret Labs chair? I do. I actually really like the like lumbar pillow that they have as well. I never use the headrest pillow though, I will say. But this is like the comfiest possible chair. I sit in a lot of Discords where my friends and I from across the world will get together and watch horror movies, and I'll like edit or work off to the side, but we'll all watch movies together, and this is like the single best Discord call hangout chair ever. David over on Instagram is also asking, I saw you're gonna be at PAX East. Are you gonna be at all of the days or just one? I will be there all the days and then some. So for all of the conventions I'm going to this year, because I've gotten this question a lot, it's gonna be Gen Con, PAX East, PAX West, and PAX Unplugged for sure. Those 4 are locked in. I doubt, there's like a 20% chance that I add TwitchCon. I might not. But for all of those conventions, I am there not only all of the days of the cons, but also the like before at least 2 or 3 days beforehand, you know. Rayoden. Hey, is that found you on Instagram? The magic content cracks me up. Hell yeah, I'm glad you like it. I have spent so much goddamn money in this game. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm gonna be ending stream like a little bit early today, only because I gotta have dinner and then run off to Monday Night Magic over on Smoking Glue Gun's channel, which is here on Twitch if you're watching on Twitch right now. So I will probably give Whitney a shout out like just before we start, so that way you could just like one click follow her, and we'll hop into it. I'm playing my Lathril deck, which is my best deck. It's not very good though because it has like basically no removal. So haha, I haven't had a chance to edit it. But let's see. Oh yeah, and then Ed Booch over on, let's see, on YouTube. This basic question. I'm playing my first Strahd campaign as a barbarian and we rolled our stats like trash. Did you go for ASIs or feat? If you rolled your stats like trash, do ASIs. I mean, is it, have you guys started yet? Because if you haven't started, then I would talk to your DM. If you guys all collectively did not roll well, Strahd is not the campaign where you want to not roll. Let me put it that way. Cash Call says, oh look, Diana fell into the money pit of Magic the Gathering. Too bad we didn't warn her ahead of time. You guys did it. Not only did you not, you warned me. You spent exactly like 10 seconds warning me. And then at DBCU over here sent me 9,000 fucking cards. And you guys keep sending me shit. I have no choice, okay? This is like giving a fucking drug addict just unlimited access to a pharmacy after hours. Giving them the key. No, it's great though. I love it so much. I spent the entire weekend playing Magic and like was in a cabin. It's the cutest thing. The YouTube members saw a little sneak peek of it, a glimpse of it already, but some of the footage that came out of it was just like peak Pacific Northwest cozy vibes. I didn't just touch grass, dude. I touched ferns, felt up some moss, rubbed my fingies on some bark. I was doing great. It was so, I also got rained on quite a bit though. You can see the humidity change in my hair from yesterday, from our stream. Whitney, hi! It says, wait, are we giving Diana more card drugs? I will get them no matter what, is what I'm learning. I finally fleshed out a semi-final form of all of the decks that I have, so I have like a ton of options. And then I am now falling into the singles game, at least, a little bit. Hi, Tyler, how's it going? Hi, I didn't see your raid. Hello. Guys, I must say hi to Tyler Shine, amazing human being, wonderful content creator, overwhelmingly positive person, and just like so fucking chill and supportive and incredibly sweet. Good to see you, Tyler. If you have to run, go for it. I'll say hi to your stream base here in a sec, but I appreciate you raiding in. Tyler says you're far too kind. Aw. Let's see, Phoenix plays us as commander that goes under the radar, but is secretly powerful as fuck. Is Radagast the Brown, the mono green one? Oh, is that Radagast the Brown? And that's different from Ragost, the dude who eats car mufflers, right? Also, Servamp, fellow Chell, hi, good to see you. Niche, oh yeah, I also have some hydrates, so I'm gonna do that real fast. Silver coins. Also says I saw you're getting into Magic. What commanders have you tried? My number one favorite girly is definitely Lathril. I also have an Ululek deck, Valgavoth. Not Terror Eater, it's Valgavoth, Harrower of Souls. It's, what else do I have? I have a lot, I swear. For some reason, I'm blanking on all of them. I have both the Elemental and the Blight precons from Lorwyn. What else? A Carmen deck, Carmen Cruel Sky Marcher. I built a Vren deck. First ever deck I built. Not good. Real bad, unless it's a multiplayer. How this has to do with Red Bull, we'll have to lurk going for a bit. Oh yeah. Oh my god, also hi guys, if you're part of Tyler's stream, hello, welcome in. I am Dinah Faye, also known as Dinah the Rose. I talk a lot, usually correctly. Ignore that part. Usually I talk a lot about things like D&D and tabletop games. I met Tyler playing a one-shot, I guess technically it was a 4-shot, over on Forgotten Paths, which is the podcast network. Podcast actual play, an actual play podcast. Jesus fuck words, dude. And that was like a little Christmas thing. Not this past year, but the year before. It was 2024's Christmas season. But yeah. People are saying I speak fast. Yeah, half Mexican. Comes with the territory. Also, Cashcom wants me to breathe. And then Tyler says, well, we met before that in person, but I totally dropped the ball then at a friend's birthday. You know what? Yeah, that was, to be fair, that venue was really fucking packed. It was huge. We went to a giant pool bar over in LA, and Sachi, Versachico, who is a friend of the stream as well, is a wonderful content creator, wonderful streamer. I forget what I was visiting for. Did I just swing by to say hi, and then she was going to a birthday party and dragged me along? I think so. Geek says, wait, you're half Mexican from where? Veracruz. And then Colonel says, I feel like there are two main types of collectors. Card collectors or miniature collectors. Dude, they got my ass on both. This is, to be fair, no, I didn't get these for free. I spent money on these. In my defense, it's a tax expense, which means it's basically free money. So there's so many of these like sitting right over here. I'm not gonna show you guys because it's a lot. Dark Airlord says, have you played Daggerheart at all? A little bit, only one shot so far, but I'm working on getting into a full campaign for something that's not gonna be streamed. It's just gonna be like a home game. I firmly believe that every content creator who does TTRPGs in an actual place needs to have at least like one home game going for the sake of sanity. Whitney says that is a very Sachi coded thing to do. Yeah, I know, right? I would kill for Sachi, dude. Oh my god, she's so great. And then Tyler says, I did play back in the day. Need to relearn though. To play Magic. I know, I was trying to get him into it at fucking TwitchCon, and he resisted. But one of these days. TwitchCon had an insane amount of really good cards too for sale. Those Stellars are great. K Davis says, have you tried out the Blighter Elemental Commander decks yet? Yeah, I mildly upgraded them. I'm still working on it. And then Notzer says, we really need Noah to explain write-offs again to you a few more times. No, I don't want to. Let me live in peaceful ignorance. No. Let's see. Whitney says I need to go get work done before stream. I love you. I'll see you later. Okay, solid. I should be all set up with like a custom playmat and all that stuff for our game later, so I'm hyped. Lucas says, I know she said I would kill Versace, but I heard I would kill Versace. I would never. She would kill me first. Lit Cookie, welcome back for your 10th stream in a row. And then let's see. Oh, Joshua Oakley over on YouTube says, I don't know if you ever read the Temeraire books by Naomi Novik. There's an official RPG coming out. I wonder what's with all the books turned RPGs recently. To be fair, we need more TTRPGs in the space. I will never not be like, hey, let's convert whatever the fuck we want into a TTRPG. But I'm kind of curious what the system is going to be. Nasser says, let me ask on your Better Angels behalf. Did you set up an LLC bank account yet? Hey, how about we stop roasting me about my financial choices, and I'll do it next year. I'll do it before the end of this year, okay? I just need to like my existing bank doesn't have an LLC option. So I have to like sign up with a whole ass new bank. I gotta go in person. I tried it once. I ran into one roadblock and then I put it aside. Someone said you said that last year. Listen, I will get to it eventually. I will get to it. Sonographer says, I gotta go and play some Helldivers. The new order is pretty big, so I gotta do my part. Bye, chat. Either way. Let's see. Hank says, I loved those books. I have never heard of it. I feel like everyone's been really into the Cosme RPG recently. Dude, if you guys want to talk TTRPGs that have been converted from books into actual TTRPGs, I gotta tell you, there are some really solid ones out there. The first one that comes to mind is what Free League has done with, not Alien, although I know we were talking about that prior. What was it? It wasn't Basin. It wasn't Forgotten Lands. It wasn't Tales from the Loop, was it? No. Is it not here? Oh yeah, The Electric State. Ignoring the Netflix nonsense that happened, they sent me a long time ago a copy of The Electric State, which is a book that they had based on an old graphic novel. And it's like post-apocalyptic, semi-apocalyptic. It's like you're on the brink of the apocalypse. Fellow Driver says, do I hear the Commander at Home intro song in the background? I need to watch more Commander at Home, to be honest. And Geek, thank you so much for the sub with Prime. Let's see. I'll Panic No Disco. Hi, saying I'm new to your channel from TikTok. Are there any places to go test out one's DMing skills? Places, no, unless you want to try and do a start playing one shot that is available for sale, but I would feel a little weird about doing that if you're purely testing your skills as a DM. Normally, if anything, I would say just running like a little free one shot for friends around the holidays specifically. You can work with a module for like Halloween or Christmas or like a fucked up Valentine's Day thing, and then kind of like make it into a one shot and then just see how it goes. I really recommend if you're testing your DMing wings for the first time and trying to fly, don't write your own stuff unless you really, really like working that way. So I don't know. But yeah, the Electric State is one of probably my favorites. It uses the Year Zero engine, so it's like a D6 pool-based system. The artwork is amazing. It's got like kind of a cyberpunk type vibe where you can go into a realistic like VR world, but if you do, you put yourself in danger. And it's all like road trip based, where you're trying to, it's like a road trip across the brink of the apocalypse, I think is exactly the term that they used. The other one that I think of a lot is Beneath the Trees, which is a graphic novel that I did a video for a little while ago. TTRPG for Hunters Entertainment, and I believe the Kickstarter ended ages ago, but they are it's like a serial killer simulator in the world of Richard Scarry type animals, where everyone is like really cute and they're living, you know, this happy little life, and they're all really sweet, and they all have this little village where they all live together, and then there's a serial killer on the loose, and some people have to, you know, try and figure out what exactly happened. They try and like look at the body and, you know, go around town, gather information, and try and solve the mystery. Other people in the group, you're not sure who, might be the serial killer as well. There might be like one or two hidden in the group. Yeah, I don't know. It's really cool. And I also talked about this recently on a podcast, but they have the teddy bear edition where you could, ages ago, I don't know if this is, oh yeah, you could still do a late pledge, I guess. Basically, they ship the game inside a teddy bear and they give you like a scalpel. Oh no, they don't give you a scalpel. But they're like, yeah, you have to cut open this teddy bear in order to get to this game. It was like the craziest fucking packaging I've ever seen. But yeah. Era25 says, do you know any good Hunger Games games? Ooh, that's a very good question, actually. I actually don't, mostly because it's so... Well, hold on. I know, I don't personally, but I know who does. Dice Times, if you guys don't follow them already, is a fantastic YouTube channel that goes off a lot of, they run a lot of pop culture miniseries, right? So they're doing an Expedition 33 game, they're doing Last of Us, Avatar Legends, and a lot of these come with their own TTRPGs. Sometimes they'll convert other systems into their own like TTRPGs. They did Fallout, of course. They did an Attack on Titan role-playing game. So yeah, half the time they go off and actually play the rule set for whatever they're working in. Other times, here we go. Oh, there is a Hunger Games role-playing game. Okay. Other times they might convert stuff. But let me see. This is part 11 of a giant ass series. They do so. This is just in Dane's basement. Dane is a wonderful human being, by the way. We love Dane in this house, and this is all in his basement. Everyone gets into full cosplay. They have like a whole set and everything like that. It's so cool. Where is? Yeah, I guess it's just like the Hunger Games tabletop role-playing game, I would suppose. If you're, I imagine that's also... No, they made it themselves? Hunger Games the RPG. Maybe this is it? But I would try and watch that and see how exactly they navigated the issue of like the fact that everyone is kind of inherently against each other, you know? Because that's kind of hard to deal with. Hi, Wavemeister! Sorry, I just like monologued for a hot sec about TTRPGs. Let's see. But hello. Natsu says, how are we 30 minutes into stream already? Time goes fast when you're roasting Diana in chat. I stopped paying attention to you guys yelling at me about my finances. Also, I want to point out someone on YouTube had a very good point. They were like, why are you telling her to keep an eye on her finances and also chatting about Magic the fucking Gathering? Wait, hold on. Will I be? Says, I don't know if you remember me, but I was the one who asked you to draw a tattoo design at PAX Aus. No fucking way. I just wanted to let you know I finally got it done and it looks sick. Really? Oh my god, you made it look good. I am not an artist, dude. The fact that you managed to make it look good is fantastic. Can you email me what it looks like? I won't see it if it's in my DMs. I can't read DMs because there's just so many of them. But that's insane. Congratulations on the tattoo. I'm glad it looks good. I think I probably said verbatim, I refuse to take responsibility if it's not good. Lukic says Diana's responsible for 2 tattoos in a week. Yeah, so Lukic, the community member over in the stream right now over on Twitch, actually got a lemon rose tattoo to celebrate how many lemon themed charity streams we've been doing, where I think we're probably over like 15 to 18K now raised for charity in the last like however long since I started streaming, with plenty more to come. There's actually going to be a charity stream for the American Heart Association later maybe next week actually. Oh, Sam says Deathmatch Island over on YouTube. Yeah, okay, wait, hold on. Deathmatch Island is a very good call. So Deathmatch Island is something that I bought recently from the RPG, the Indie Press Revolution booth, I believe, at PAX Unplugged, it might have been. And it's a game where you have to a fast-paced role-playing game about a deadly competition on a mysterious island chain. It uses the Paragon system, and you take the place of ordinary people with a hazy memory of their life before the game. You compete for followers, and instead of reciting epic deeds, you give a confessional to a camera. You face each other at the end and ask, will we all turn on each other until one winner remains, or can we work together to break the whole system? It's kind of like a mix of the Hunger Games and Survivor, I imagine, where you have like all these challenges that you're trying to get through, and you have like a bunch of potential competitors, but I don't think you attack them directly. And there's also like these rich ass overlords, very Hunger Games style, who you're trying to appeal to in order to, basically, win the game or overthrow them. The whole style of the game is really cool. Like, this is how the entire book looks. I do want to play it. I haven't talked about it very much or gotten into it, but it says that it's inspired by Squid Game, Battle Royale, Deathloop, Survivor, all that sort of stuff, which is so cool. Also Lost, The Prisoner, Severance, and Control. God, fucking Control is such a great inspo. Anyway, very good call. I had forgotten about that one. Thank you, Sam. Hey, Akoto, how's it going? And Ryoden says, I live in a super small town. No one here plays D&D or Magic the Gathering. Makes me miss the city, so now I have to use a taped out website and a webcam to play. Makes me miss the city. Yeah, for what it's worth, I usually get I'm in the same space where there's not too many, there's like exactly one card shop and exactly one board game shop on opposite ends of town. And they're both amazing. The people who work there are fantastic. The people who swing by are awesome. One of the board game stores is a little bit more touristy, but that's only because it's in the tourist part of town. And so the but the game stores are really cool. Usually I get my fill through conventions by traveling and going to Gen Con, especially PAX Unplugged, PAX West, all that sort of stuff, picking up miniatures, picking up a bunch of things, and spending obscene amounts of money. But that's where I get to meet my friends from across the world who have the same interests and hobbies as well, and then we all play together, we all have a good time. It's fun. Akoto says, solid night. My crouch goblins fell asleep early. And also, thank you so much for the resub, Akoto. It's great to see ya. Let's see. We also have Ruth Uzi, amazing name, subbed with Prime Gaming for free. And then Lovable Simon says, do you think you'd ever make it back to PAX Sauce again? Yes, I really want to. That is genuinely, like, it's in the rotation now. It's probably gonna be a once every 2 or 3 years thing because it's so hard to get out there. It's like $8 grand round trip. So, I don't know. Oh, and Matcha wants me to breathe and hydrate. I could do that. Crisp water. The only downside to going to conventions every now and then, though, is the fact that the water in every other state sucks compared to Oregon. I'm an Oregonian water supremacist, so, you know. Let's see. Colin says, do you have any recommendations on better roleplay outside of encounters? Yeah, make sure that social encounters they have as much thought put into them as combat encounters. And what I mean by that is you need to have, how do I put this? So when it comes to combat encounters, you have a bunch of different factors that affect what could happen in the combat, right? You have your player character's skills and strengths, you have the environment, you have the amount of people involved in the encounter, and you have those people's backstories and all that sort of stuff. If anything, social encounters have more potential factors that could work their way in. So for example, let's say you're going up to a shopkeeper and the shopkeeper's, you know, telling your party like, hey, all the prices are really expensive because we're having supply chain issues around here. Like, sorry, a ration is gonna be 10 gold pieces. Obviously an insane price and no one would pay that. But you can then, you know, have tables of interactions that you can not roll on, but almost like build flow charts around and follow depending on what your party does and what their skills might be. So for example, if a party member happens to be really perceptive and they like, you know, have a really high passive or active investigation or perception score and they're watching someone restocking as the person at the front desk is like trying to convince you guys to spend this much money on rations, but you're watching this restocker go back and forth through a curtain that leads into the back room, and just every once in a while, as the curtain parts when they pass through, you see boxes and boxes and boxes of rations. And then you have leverage now in that conversation, and you should kind of consider it almost like a persuasion meter, right? That goes from like, it's on a little scale where if they start insulting the person, maybe it works for some people, maybe it doesn't. It's almost like the Oblivion style of trying to persuade someone to do something, but with a little bit more potential aspects that could weigh positively or negatively in your directions. But yeah. Ben Void says, is there a good way to lower monsters' CR to help balance a fight more? Ooh. I actually don't know. I don't think I've ever tried that. I know a lot of people have qualms with the CR system and how it works, so it's hard. I don't really homebrew a lot of like my own monsters or anything like that, but one thing you could consider doing is taking the monster's abilities and then swapping them out for the abilities of a monster from a different CR. So for example, if you look at go back to this vampire stat block, right? A vampire, really fucking difficult to deal with. And usually if you wanted to homebrew a monster, the easiest way to do it without any work is to take another monster of the same challenge rating level. So for example, CR 13, and then go to another monster that's CR 13 and just swap their traits 1 for 1 and their actions 1 for 1 and just kind of like make a little collage, a little puzzle of filling out your stat block with, you know, traits and actions and legendary actions from different monsters. You know, you can cobble it together and put it together like a mosaic. So instead of doing that, what I would consider maybe doing is swapping with instead of like another challenge rating 13 monster, swapping it with like a challenge rating 9 monster, and, you know, making it so that certain abilities are weaker because they come from other weaker creatures, if that makes sense. That would be how I would try it, but then you completely threw out any ability to scale your combats out the window using automated methods. So someone also says the easy way is to have the monster wounded. Yeah, you could have them start in with an existing wound. The only thing that I would do when it comes to that, though, is I would make sure that you're not just lowering the amount of hit points that are there, but also making it affect how they attack. So maybe, for example, if the vampire that you're fighting has a broken off fangs or a severed arm, they're not going to be able to make bite attacks, and they're not going to have multi-attacks. You know, so it's not just like, oh, you lower their hit points by a certain amount. You want to make it so that it actually impacts combat, because if they can deal the same amount of damage, then you haven't really done that much in the end. You've just made the combat shorter, not easier. Hey, Angelo Sexton says, what up, chat? What are we talking about? We're just talking about whatever. We were talking about magic. We were talking about TTRPGs. We were talking about fucking briefly the Super Bowl, a lot, my taxes, that sort of stuff. Let's see. Hi, Kalki says, hi, Diana, I love your YouTube shorts. Oh my god, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much to everyone who's popped in and said, hey, I love your stuff, by the way. Or, hey, Eiley, thank you for, you know, oh my god, I found you. I didn't realize you streamed. Thank you. I haven't seen those comments. I'm just trying to keep up with the questions as well. Phoenix Blaze says, my friends and I are building a setting and we have point values assigned to many abilities and use the point system to help with balancing, but that's just us. Also, the HP matters. It does. Wait, Cheese Prof says, don't read chat. Why? Wait, what have you guys done? Let's see. Viper also says, just lie. That's why you have the DM screen. Make it up as you go based on how everything is flowing. Yeah, so there is another thing that there is something you can do where, and this is like kind of a controversial practice and it's not really equipped for D&D, but D&D also isn't as equipped for roleplay as it could be, where you can end a fight, especially a boss fight, not when there's no HP left in that hit point bar, but instead when it's cinematically viable. So especially boss fights, making it so that like once they reach 0, that creature doesn't die until someone does something really epic, and then you're like, okay, shit, that's cool. Now, how do you want to do this? Hey, Wave Meister says, I love your makeup. I followed your fucking tutorial. Oh my god, thank you. Let's see. Oh my gosh, and then the Mutant Gaming says, I wish the games I played were this in depth. My DM is combat focused. Yeah, it's a problem when people don't have like DM and player alignment on how exactly they want to run or play games. And that's why the first thing I ask whenever it comes to like running a game for players is like, hey, what kind of experience do you want to have? And this is very common for a lot of like different session 0 checklists and all that sort of thing, is a lot of like, I don't know, like a lot of scales of how much combat versus roleplay do you want, or how much comedy versus seriousness do you want. I usually use that to choose the campaign from there and pick out which ones, you know, A, that my party is not already familiar with, and then B, you know, which ones they might enjoy based off that style that they prefer. Nalster says there's definitely different campaigns. Fight heavy, roleplay heavy, balanced. Yeah, I mean, if you're doing fucking Lost Mines of Vandelver, it's a really good intro to both. If you're doing Curse of Strahd, it's a lot more roleplay heavy. There's a lot more impact on the world from your actions that you need to kind of measure. There's a couple different almost factions that have an interest in the world. And so you want to make sure that you're balancing that. All Panic No Disco, thanks for the follow. Same with Were Raven Gaming, Steve Sailor, Svendris, Kelki, of course. Samurai has resubbed at tier 1 and it started a hype train with Anjiro Sexton. And Roth, I think Ruth Buzzy, I think I already said hi to you. But hello to everyone who has joined. Where Raven also says, hey, I stumbled upon your group on YouTube for Chains of Asmodeus. I offered your DM and all you guys to run a campaign for you guys. I'm a DM myself and I have a Crooked Moon stream on Twitch and YouTube. Dude, I need to look at Crooked Moon so bad. Holy fuck. Crooked Moon. So the team was so kind and sent me like a proper a set of their stuff. I still need to cover it on YouTube a little bit more once I've looked over it. But oh my god, Maldarian, thanks for the 5 gifted subs. That money goes towards the cat that I'm looking to get. So I appreciate that. I'm still collecting items, so I got a pile of shit in my living room right now. You guys have also been really nice in sending like catnip toys and things like that to the PO box, which is like so sweet of you. I'm so excited. I've upgraded to 2 cats because I heard that that's better for the cat. But yeah, no, I found myself like scanning roads to look for like strays and just like, oh, I'm so excited. I don't have the stuff yet, but I'm excited. Macy says, one of my friends is actually running a low-level hardcore campaign where we're only gonna go to like level 6 and actually track resources and stuff. So your recent videos have been perfect. Yeah, hell yeah. Oh, I'm glad that you like it. I don't have too many more other bits of advice when it comes to things like that. It's really just like lingering injuries, tracking resources. Really, that's it. Viper says if you can find a pre-bonded pair, then that's also amazing. That's the plan. And then DVC said it's gonna be 3 cats by the time they're adopted. I know, we'll just keep adding, we'll double it and pass it to the next person. The next person is just me again. Yeah, Wildcard says, yeah, I've been DMing for like a decade. Random suggestion for someone getting into the creator space. Oh, are you looking for advice on being a creator? I mean, the biggest thing is repost everything everywhere. Always post on all platforms because you really can't grow your audience effectively without encompassing all your platforms at once. Which you get the hang of a workflow for that after a little while, but that's why I post on TikTok and then export and then put it on Instagram and then export again and then put it on YouTube is usually what I do, and then Meta automatically posts to Facebook, so I don't have to worry about Facebook and all that. So yeah, definitely post everywhere. Streaming wise, if that's the kind of streaming you want to, if that's the kind of content you want to make, totally different beast. It's a lot harder to grow if you're a streamer from zero. You usually need an audience from somewhere else, or you know, I dare say friends with audiences who will raid into you and be willing to play games with you and all that sort of stuff. But even then, no matter what you do, you still need to hold up on your own. You need to talk fast, you need to keep people's attention, you need to stay relevant, you need to post consistently. And that means like on a day-to-day basis consistently. So every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever you go for, keep to that schedule because that's how algorithms work. They enjoy schedules. Yeah, that's it. Viper says, how many does your apartment allow? Or is this a no, there's no cats here thing? No, I'm gonna do it the legal way. Pet rent and pet deposit and all that sort of stuff. I don't think there's an upper limit as far as I'm aware. I think the only thing they really care about is aquariums and shit like that. Cheese Prop also says, Diana, I know that you love crunchy rules, but how often do you spontaneously change behind the scenes plot if the party isn't aware? I haven't had to yet, but that's because I also overthink absolutely everything. And usually I account for, and it sounds conceited, I account for like every circumstance and every possible reaction to things. I account for the fact that my party could kill basically every single NPC. You know, no one's a load-bearing NPC. And so all that sort of stuff. I haven't had to yet. Knock on particle board. Let's see. Where Raven Gaming says, second the streaming part, it's tough to get into it. Luckily, I have a decent small following so far and got lucky. Yeah, I mean, it also helps like engaging with your audience. I have a whole different set of like streaming advice and things like that that just would never apply to other content. It's a totally different beast. Let's see. Hados says, the overthinking DM, so relatable. Yeah, and Yves says, hey Diana, how was your weekend of games? It was good, it was solid, it was fun. It was so fun. It sucked not having signal because I was in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, Oregon, but you know, it was cool. It was like rainy and cozy. They had like a fire. So we built a fire. They had a hot tub. So we went hot tubbing. I got a bunch of people together with some ciders and we all played the Red Dragon Inn as a drinking game, which is so much fun. And Viper says, have you seen her DM screen TikTok? This lady's prepared for every eventuality. Yeah, that's how I am. It's like, give me a flowchart, an Excel sheet, and all the time in the world, and I will make the best goddamn campaign. Steven says there's one core rule in streaming. Have cool mods like DB. That's it. Yeah, exactly. You don't have to do anything else. You don't even need overlays. And Viper says, have y'all... Oh, wait, no, I read that. Maldarian says the Red Dragon Inn. Dude, the Red Dragon Inn is... Okay. If you were to ever ask me what my favorite board game is that isn't related to TTRPGs, that hasn't been like... You know, that is something that you can actually bring to a game night that isn't a campaign style game, the Red Dragon Inn would fucking pop the charts every single time. The Red Dragon Inn is essentially this game where it's not a role-playing game, it's just a board game. Technically kind of a card game, and you can choose characters, and your characters determine your loadout. And if you have different characters, they do different things. So for example, Fiona the Volatile, really good at offensive, not offensive stuff. There's a changeling in here who's basically like a druid who can shapeshift into a bunch of different forms. One of the harder ones is Dale the mycologist, who like spends their time like growing mushrooms and then harvesting those mushrooms. So it's a very long-term mechanic. And so they have like a bunch of different difficulties, essentially, a bunch of different characters, so many fucking characters, and some crossovers with things like Munchkin. And the whole point of the game is you're sitting down in a tavern as a group of adventurers after a quest. And you are all trying to get each other to drink a ton or lose a ton of money or lose a ton of health. Like a competitive sort of game where you can like inflict damage on other people at the table, you buy them drinks or you enhance the content of their drinks, and you have two bars essentially. You have your health and your alcohol levels. And if your alcohol level either gets higher than your health level, as your health goes down, your alcohol goes up, then you're out of the game. And so turning this into a real drinking game is a lot of fun. Every time you give someone a drink, then you have to actually like give them a drink. And it's wonderful. They've kept putting out expansions. It's my favorite game ever. Impulse Eve, hi! And Lenoxu says, hello everyone. Hello! Louis says, Red Dragon Inn is so fun, and like the 30 expansions. Yeah, every time I go to a convention and I see that Slugfest has a booth, I will buy an expansion that I don't have already. I have their massive box. Essentially, they're like, what is it called? Oh my god, they have metal coins. They have metal coins for this game. No fucking way. Oh, I need these. Oh, I need so many of these. Holy fuck. That's hard. I will deal with that later. I was just complaining this weekend as we were playing. I was like, oh my god, they don't have any metal coins, but like slamming down metal coins would be the best fucking thing ever. God, oh, that's so cool. They also have like different coins for like different parts of the world and different cultures. This is sick. God, you guys are so fucking cool. What's Average Gamer says, oh wait, wait, what was the question? Oh, Viper says Munchkin mentioned. What about Munchkin? Munchkin has a expansion in the Red Dragon Inn. But they do a couple other games as well. They're putting out 10 now, apparently, which is cool. Yeah, I don't know. Andronima says how Diana's bank balance is not constantly in the red. I have no idea. It's because I have a day job. Dude, I was talking to my other content creator friends about this earlier today. Content does not make any money. Like outside of sponsorships, and even then sponsorships like themselves, you have to do a lot of fucking work to make them work, and the ceiling for that in TTRPGs is way lower than it normally is for other types of content. So that's not ideal. But I have my day job that really funds all the fun stuff. So Andronima says, nah, I know what you do, but board games are expensive. Thankfully, board games nowadays, I usually get gifted, actually. I don't pay for as many of them as I used to, but what'll happen is I'll go to conventions and someone will be like, you know, someone will ask if I want to demo something. And then I'll be like, oh yeah, like I'm a content creator. I'm trying to learn more about games that are specifically within these genres. And I'll set up a meeting with them and they'll be like, oh my God, you're a content creator. And then I think they'll Google me after I respond to those emails and make a meeting. Because usually afterwards they're like, yeah, like swing by Sunday if we have extra copies. I'll just give you an extra copy and, you know, maybe do a review or something. And I'm like, yeah, I have so many reviews to get to, so it might be a little while, but I'm down. It won't be a promotion, but it'll be a review, you know? Allegedly Macy says, I'm so happy I haven't gotten into board games. I have enough expensive hobbies. Honestly, the problem isn't so much the expense, so where the fuck am I gonna keep all this shit? I'm out of space in my apartment. I have capped out like where I can put things, to be fully honest. Thought Crime Spree says they just gotta have friends that have board games. You don't need them yourself. That's true. The thing is, then you need friends. Then you need friends. And that's like a lot harder than I think people think. But Kato says it must be crazy to be so popular and recognizable and yet so busy. And yet not a millionaire as people assume. Yeah, no, guys, I live in a fucking 2-bedroom apartment that is, let's see, if I didn't have 2 jobs, I would not be able to afford to live here. Like right on the edge there. Comfortably enough that I can get a cat, but. Yves says, speaking of fun games, V Rising, shout out to Doctors Without Borders fundraiser and everyone who donated, has taken over all of my free time. Yeah, I saw you playing it the other day. And so I'm glad that it's helped. And Lino says, maybe if you move out all the dead plants, there might be a little more. Fuck off. I'm doing great. This one over here has been alive for so long. It's off camera and I'm not gonna turn around my camera, but trust that it's there. In fact, actually, from about like here on over, just off screen, it's crazy. I actually have like 70 plants that are thriving, propagating, living. You guys just can't see them. So, Andronima says, listen, she's not a botanist. If she were, her plants wouldn't die. Yeah, I was friends with the botany students for quite a while. As part of like a job that I had in college, and I had a roommate actually who was in the plant health clinic, the plant disease clinic of my college campus. And every time I had a plant that was dying, I would be like, help. And she would do some crazy shit where she would like just toss it into a plastic bag, pot and all, or something like that. And then, and then 10 minutes later, it would perk up again and be fine. Deethan says, you have a vitamin D deficiency, yet your plants don't. I mean, I haven't asked them. Qbert says, did you see the recent article on Polygon about Chris Perkins explaining how WotC's Vecna campaign was supposed to explain the obelisks in D&D, but it got scrapped? I actually don't have any information on the obelisks at all. So I'm afraid I don't really know. Is that related to the Fandelver stuff that came out? To be fair, the Vecna campaign, I've yet to see anyone really finish it. I heard that the scaling of the items isn't very good. Oh no, that's Witchlight that I'm thinking of. Yeah, Witchlight. I like Vecna as a campaign because I like the chance to play a high level campaign. I've heard that it's not very good. I also am a firm believer in the fact that that can be fixed, and that every module, no matter what, needs some amount of homebrew in it anyway, whether it be the descriptions, whether it be the items that you drop in, anything like that. And so if you're gonna do that to any module anyway, you may as well, like, do it to fucking, you know, the Vecna campaign. I don't know. I think it's also a thing, though, where you don't actually kill Vecna in the end. Doesn't, like, what's his name? Cast do it? Or something? I don't know. Spoiler, I guess. But Propleton says, don't forget that study that said that speaking nicely to plants helps them grow and insulting them makes them wither. So use nice words. I do say fuck a lot in this room. Not gonna lie. So, whoops. Yeah, Wildcard over on TikTok says the Red Dragon Inn is so rad. I have custom metal coins for my set. You guys are gonna make me so fucking jealous about this. Oh my god. I also need to, real fast, check my calendar and see what time Whitney's stream actually starts, because I want to make sure... Yeah, okay, I should have time. Make sure I'm good to go on that front. Keegan says that just means that the plants are desensitized to the word fuck. Exactly. Yeah. It's probably fine. Let's see. Oh, hey, Time Guy says I don't think YouTube comments are being read. I actually just found out that my YouTube comments weren't scrolling, so I had to refresh it. So I am able to see them now. And Phoenix Blaze says it's not an inherently bad word. It depends on context. I feel like that could be said about, like, anything, though, I'm sure. Depending on context. Like, certain people are allowed to say certain words, you know? Kato says it's a term of endearment. Oh, man. Ripper Doc over on Instagram says, hey Vanna, I love the outfit, if I may say so. As a DM, I often worry that my combat encounters aren't challenging enough. Do you have any advice? Yes, make sure challenge doesn't just have to come from the stat blocks, it should also come from the environment. So for example, maybe there's an inherent timer in the way that you're doing the combat. So like, maybe, say there's a combat where your party is trying to get across a bridge and they need to fight off a bunch of goblins, we'll say, that are standing between them and their destination. You can fight the goblins on the bridge all you want, but that's still really boring and that's not a challenge. What is a challenge is getting past the goblins before they close the door and bar it from the inside, you know? So they need to like dash forward and get across the bridge whether or not all the goblins are dead by the time they reach the door. There's also a thing where maybe the bridge isn't entirely stable, and if you're a large monster or larger, you're gonna have problems finding places to stand that aren't gonna crumble under your feet. The goblins are small, the goblins are a little bit more lightweight, all that sort of stuff. So it should also come from the environment. Easy ways to do that are pools. Pools being just a generic term for like the concept of having any liquid or any trap or anything like that around the environment. So for example, if you're playing in a forest, that's great, that's fine. But maybe you have like little patches of flowers around that forest that are inherently dangerous or full of spikes or something like that. Maybe they release this weird toxin that gives you disadvantage on your saving throws so long as you're standing in that space. It should be part puzzle, where people still need to work a little bit extra harder to figure out how to navigate the environment at the same time as doing the battle, because otherwise the battle is just hitting a stack of hit points over and over, you know? Sicarius says, Test, can you hear us now? Yeah, and then also Pope J-Rod says the Vecna campaign hinges on a deception that feels contrived. If you can square that circle, it improves things immensely. Oh yeah, isn't there like a whole thing where Vecna's lying? I don't know, I haven't read into it that much. I really haven't. I feel like I need to. But I'm also not planning on running a 14th level TTRPG anytime soon. If anything, I might go backwards and start at one and do... My next one, honestly, is probably going to be the Children of the Wolf campaign or Children of the Moon campaign from Nightfell, because it's horror. So I wouldn't have to adjust it to make it scary as much. Hey, Public Health Poodle over on TikTok says, Mythbusters showed that hostile language towards plants stimulated growth. I don't believe that for a second. Did they actually? I did hear I saw the Mythbusters episode where I think they said that hostile language helps you, what is it? It helps you get accommodated to pain better, right? Where you're more resistant to pain if you're able to swear or something like that. I don't know. Soar Emperor says, how do you feel about systemless tabletop role-playing games? I actually have never heard of a systemless tabletop game. Usually they come up with their own system. Oh yeah, Deven says it helps reduce your perception of pain. Exactly, and Nos just says, fuck yeah, that's the spirit. And then Keegan Zaplin says, swearing helps you resist pain, but you can't swear at others. Oh, does swearing at other people not resist pain? Or not help? Wait, hold on. What? Yeah, Andronima says if you swear when you're hurt, but not normally swearing, it'll help you resist. Oh, so if I swear all the time anyway, then it doesn't help? Fuck. CJ says, any tips or suggestions for running Curse of Strahd for the first time? Yeah, my number one tip is that there's a subreddit for Curse of Strahd. Go look at that subreddit, look at all the top posts, look at what's pinned to like their wiki page and their frequently asked questions, and study that, because there's a lot of extra content in there that fixes a lot of problems inherent with Strahd that you will need to fix as a GM. Other than that, my same advice would, as normal, would be to read the entire module the full way through before you even think about running it, before you even go back and start editing it, you know? Because especially for Strahd, there's a lot of different, what do you call it? There's a lot of different strings that can be pulled. There's a lot of different ways to handle combats, and depending on, for example, who you talk to first in certain quests, you know, you might have different outcomes. And so you want to make sure that you're keeping a good handle on how the PCs interact with each other, or the NPCs interact with the players. Senor, hi, welcome in. Let's see, and then Lit Cookie, thank you so much for the sub. Cashgal wants me to check my posture, which I can do. Verbose also subbed. Oh yeah, and the Phoenix Blaze says there's a huge difference between exclamatory swearing and derogatory swearing and what it does to our brain. Really? Oh, weird. I didn't know that. Oh yeah, Liz says swearing primarily only reduces pain if you don't normally swear, so you can get resistant. Fuck. Damn it. Anyway, I should probably skedaddle only for the sake of the fact that I need to leave a little bit early so I can get ready for Whitney's game. That's gonna be at 7, by the way, for those who are gonna watch me play Magic on Monday Night Magic. Let me give Whitney a quick shout out here. Her name is Smoking Glue Guns on all platforms. And let me see, Smoking Glue Guns. There you go. Go ahead and give her a follow if you guys want to get pinged when we go live. I'm probably not going to be on camera, I don't think. And so I will probably just be playing as Lathril, but you'll still be able to hear me. You'll still be able to see my playmat. You'll still be able to see everything I'm doing. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. So give her a follow, and I will see you guys at 7. For those who are watching on TikTok for right now, thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope to see you on one of the other platforms next time. And then for those who are on Instagram, I will similarly say goodbye. But if you want to, you can go to my story and hi, Sachi, hello. Crazy timing. I'm about to leave. But we were talking about you earlier. I forget why. Oh, because Tyler said hi. Anyway. Oh no, Krondark says, oh no, I've just got here. Shit, I'm sorry, Krondark. It's okay. I'll send you guys over to a friend of mine. So if you guys want to do more TTRPG talk, we can. For those who are on Instagram, same thing. If you guys watch my story, it'll give you a link to Twitch where you can head straight there, get notified, and watch on a much better platform. Yeah, it'll be a lot easier for me to chat to y'all if you're over there, but I appreciate you guys for swinging by anyway. For those on YouTube, you guys will just kind of have to sit around. Hopefully I'll see you on Twitch as well, because it's a lot easier to move people around and hang out there, and for me to read stream chats, like for Gauze, who says, listening from Australia, mate, you got a new fan here. Love your YouTube D&D stuff. Fuck yeah, I'm so glad you like it. And then let's see, who's on? Is Whitney on already? She wouldn't be on already. She doesn't get ready for like another hour. But what we can do is I'm gonna send you guys over to the, yeah, I'm gonna send you guys over to Just the Humans channel because Gracie is playing. Gracie, wonderful human being. And also, so is like, oh my God, Rebecca and Latia. Yes, oh, these guys are great. So I'm gonna send you guys over to them. They are raising money for a No Ice in Minnesota charity stream, which obviously we stand by on this channel and in general, for obvious reasons. I'm not white. I hope those reasons are obvious. So I'll send you guys over there. Be sure to support, and I will see you in about an hour, a little less than that, on Whitney's channel for Magic. Until then, bye-bye.